All right, let's take a look at these DrBossKeys with their hair tops. Ooh, look at him with the big hair. Big hair. Although I don't think Toby believed me when I was like, go really big hair. There's nothing in here that's big hair.
I don't know. That first one's pretty big. It's like 2 times the size of DrBossKey's head.
I like that we got our little rat's tail.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the rat's tail.
Just drinking it in. Just drinking it in. I definitely like the longer hairstyle. And I think this hair here is the same as here, just with the glasses, right? The goggles.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, okay. Agreed, miss. I like the longer hair for sure. Like the longer hair for sure. I do like this. I'm not gonna lie. I guess this is the Dragon Ball Z style, like in slightly influenced hair. So it's really kind of a toss-up between Mr. Braid, longer tail, and Mr. Big, like big sort of DBZ hair. What do you think, Zay? Do you like the bigger locks of 1 or the longer and thinner locks of 3?
I think I like the bigger locks of number 1.
And you want the rat's tail. I know it.
And yeah, of course I want the rat's tail, but I'm just a bigger fan of the way that number 1 is shaped, but I do like the shorter hair more than I like the longer hair. So we're on a bit of opposite ends on that one.
I think the problem is I kind of like all the hair, you know?
Yeah,
but
me too.
I also, you know, I mean, we could probably do hairstyles until the cows come home.
Yeah, I just really like the way that it makes his head shaped. I know that's kind of weird, but
It's okay. Well, I mean, look, with the hair pulled up over, you know, basically past the ears, right? Like you have the framing of the ears plus extra jawline, right? Like in this case, you have a lot of noise and that jawline gets missed, right? So it totally makes sense to me.
yeah, I really like them all. I think that they all look really good. How can we combine them all into one?
Elrock says, I like the thinner hair. It's just that the shape of the hair is too trapezoidal for me. Okay. I appreciate that, Elrock. Hello, Ellie. How you doing? There's a little piece of me, like when I was trying to describe that I wanted big hair. I mean, I really wanted something like almost caricature style. But, you know, I mean, we can get back to that too at some point. All right. I think the feedback is pretty straightforward. Julian Michelle says they all look good. I know that's the issue too. Just I'm trying to feel in my heart if this feels right. I think it does.
I almost feel like it's a little bit too top heavy on some of them, just because if we wanted to have a longer back, it would give us a very mullet appearance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I mean, we just draw him with long hair. I don't know if I would take kind of it as a basis, but yeah, I hear what you're saying there. Mm-hmm. Damn it, it's hard. Elrock, especially the rat's tail. Everyone likes the rat's tail. It's pretty funny.
Number 1 is definitely growing on me though, especially with the bigger, thicker locks, and then if you had the tail coming out of it. Mm-hmm.
It has more. I think it has more style to it. That's the thing that I'm enjoying. I mean, they're all good hair. Don't get me wrong. And I don't. I mean, when I look at it, I don't immediately think Dragon Ball Z or anything like that. I mean, not that it's the worst comparison ever. You know.
Yeah, I don't even think Dragon Ball Z at all, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Dragon Ball Z was a lot more angular and a lot less lines.
Hammer Man with that hype tentacles. Yeah. All right, so have him. I think I like all of them, so we'll give him that feedback. Let's get a. I don't even think I need to approve the next round at this point. Let's get a rat's tail on the bigger hair, and I'd like to see a version of the goggles on the bigger hair too. Okay, yeah, I would say that let's give him the rat's tail, and let's go with number 1. And then, okay, so what are our next things here? Art class with Doc. Superboy Colin, hello. I think what I would encourage him to do is let's get a little bit more charismatic with with I think the wraps. You know, like I could see like maybe one extra layer, you know, like not completely tightly wrapped, but just a little bit more, you know, like I'm not sure why, just it is. So that would be one piece. Hey, come back, come back. Come back, I miss you. Thank you. There we go. I like the energy runes pretty good. You know, I think it's not a bad first version for a Soul Keyblade. I'm half tempted to push it off, like push the style for it. I kind of like what he's got going on with the tip, like the proportions. The grip is nice. Yeah, okay. I think that, yeah, let's see a version with the additional wrapping for character. And it's definitely a one-handed sword. And yeah, let's drop the runes. They're not working. I think they're too pixelated, maybe. That's part of it. And I think I want to see just a little more space in there. It'll suggest more of a mechanical, like a mechanism, something that's shifting in the pommel, or sorry, in the guard. Yeah, I think we're there with the hammer. What do you think, Zay?
I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. I think that it's like a double whammy. So not only does he like jam these horns into this person, and then they've got this big like cube entering into their body. Mm-hmm. Then there's a second round of tiny little horns that go even further in, and they rip all their organs and internal parts out. Good.
I'm glad you're excited by it. I mean, we can also have this thing come in. It can, like, I think the design idea, right, which was to have it coming off of his backside, and maybe like the stock cords are sort of like the holder for it. I think that was a cool idea. I mean, aside from I'd like to see without the electricity balls flying everywhere, but let's just pretend I'm not looking at that. So, So we're working on, this is Loki, our sidekick. This is her, I believe. She should be on screen here in a second. There she is. And so this is her alter ego. And currently we're thinking about turning some of her, like this is starting to turn out to be like a follow alert. So, and we're just trying to see how much we can get away with without drawing a million frames of animation.
Yeah, I think you said you were not looking at the electric furballs.
Yep. I'm definitely not looking at those right now. So my take on it right now. So I think aside from the fact that the balls are flying everywhere, I think I'd like to see the furthest back position of the wings drawn in a more closed shape, right? Like they just need to go back further. Because right now what he's doing, right, is that he's drawing them. So I think that's part of it. I mean, if he wants to add one more frame, that might be fine. One more frame where they go just further back, and I think that would be close enough for this.
Gotcha, and I think it would also give good space to the blinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but the fact that we can get this out of him, this is one of his strengths, right? So we should keep thinking about him in being able to do simple animations. Yeah. Otherwise, what do you think? I mean, I'm so tempted to move other things around, but I'm not going to. Not going to.
Yeah, I kind of had the thought that, like, we might want to have some sort of swaying in the tail or something like that, but I really think that if we just kept it nice and simple with the wings and the blink, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. So I think this round of her, she's lost some of her sex appeal. I mean, she's not sexy yet. She's not sexy enough yet. I think what you're channeling from some of the inspiration images, part of that might come in through coloring as well. I think that we need work on the face. I don't think the eyes are the kind of eyes that you're sort of looking for. Third eye is interesting that it's there to some degree. There's some weird squiggly lines, I think. The other side here is that the horns and the hair it feels like the hair is coming out of the horns with the way the shape is. And if that's a design element you want, that's totally fine. I just, it doesn't, like when I think of the big curly hair that you were kind of thinking about, at least initially, this design element, it's almost like she's got horn hair, right? Like it feels a bit funky, where they're almost, they, for me, felt like they were, and maybe this is the right way you want to go. It's totally fine with me. But it feels like the hair was supposed to be kind of separate from the horns. And you kind of already know how I feel about, you know, about he likes to have like this layering of like the tails being crossed over with the hair, and I think it's fairly okay for maybe the pose, but I would probably pull the tail down here a little bit more so it has room to breathe by itself. And I think the hooves are pretty cute. I think the legs are pretty cute. These little garter things are kind of working out, which is kind of nice. I'm not a huge fan now. We might pick this up in coloring and that'll be fine, but I'm not a huge fan right now of the it's like the translucent cloth. It might turn out in shading that it's great, but right now it, you know, it feels like it's a place that could be sexier and that isn't sexy quite yet. So, and it might also be because when I'm looking at here, I'm not necessarily thinking about, you know, how this section is starting to come together. So that might be totally fine if we catch it in shading. So I think it's cute, but it might be we might need to pick up. I think the way we've envisioned these as weapons don't read. He probably needs a conversation about what that looks like. And you can kind of see like you know, like we've got these weird angles, so that's a tough thing to draw. So it's better represented here. So wrist bits are cute. I think the spots will be cute once we pick them up in coloration. And then I thought she was going to be more heavily bosomed. I think that was at least that was something. Since I'm a sexist pig, that was something that I think you'd mentioned. You were thinking that she was going to be a little more full in the area. Not sure how this, like it doesn't quite read yet. In terms of like how the gear comes together, it might. I don't have any good feedback there. I do like, I like the bigness of the hair. I think that getting the curls that you were envisioning is something that we need to strive for.
I did request that the hair comes from the horns, and so the horns are holding the hair up pretty much. I envision.
Okay.
Because I don't want to have an exact image like the reference that we used. But I appreciate your feedback. I think maybe if we did take the size of the horns down a little bit and then had the hair coming up even further above them, it can still be behind the horns, but have its own independent feel.
Mm-hmm. I think it could work. Part of it's going to be in shading too. It's just going to read like hair horns, I think, right? Like that's sort of when we're looking at the main image here. Wow, he's got a ways to go. He's got a long ways to go.